We hope you're all doing well. The members of this podcast are
Lovely Lively Pink, Sakura.
Your Blue Ranger Onesan, Yuri.
And I'm your MC, a touch of sweet and sour yellow, Yuzu. We'll be hanging out with these members today, so let's get started. To start off, Yuri, have you been watching anything recently?
Emiya Sanchi no Kyo no Gohan, the Fate cooking anime.
I love like the spin-offs for like it's just cooking. I love those ones.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, it's exactly what it says. This is a book you can judge by its cover. It's the characters in Fate Stay Night, the very dramatic, very battle and drama-oriented series featuring human magic users controlling avatars of famous historical and fictional figures. In this one, they just sit around, make tasty food, and eat it. But it's animated by UFO Table, the same studio that did the big, action-packed, huge budget, huge hype seasons of Fate as well.
And Demon Slayer.
Yeah, and also you may know them also from Garden of Sinners, Kara Kyokai, also by Tight Moon, and Demon Slayer, which has been like, you don't need me to tell you how huge that's become. But
oh my god!
So all the breathtaking animation prowess that they put into those shows, they also put into this fun little show about cooking. In a previous Oshi-Kai, I was delighted to share my love for Bazette with all of you, who was a character who had not come up in Emiya Gohan yet, but since then, she has shown up in a chapter of it. So in my delight, as I was getting caught up on the manga, I went back and watched the show. And it's such a fun, soothing little end of the day show. The only time you wouldn't enjoy this probably is when you're really, really hungry and have no way of getting food. But one of our previous episodes, I mentioned Wakakozake, and this is very much in the same mold. It's a culinary show, first and foremost, but it has all the fun of you get to see the characters from Fate instead of like fighting each other to the death. And, you know, making anguish-filled decisions about the fate of the world. They're making meatloaf, buying bamboo shoots, going to the fish market. And they tell you, not in enough detail in the anime. The manga is much better if you want to learn how to make the stuff that's being eaten, because it not only does it have the detailed recipes, besides the artist and writer of the manga, Ta, there's also a culinary consultant whose job is just to come up with recipes that can be reproduced by real people cooking.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, when it aired originally, it's the ultimate like take a moment out of your day, relax, and see something fun and heartwarming kind of show. They aired it one episode per month originally.
Whoa.
And offered like a seasonally appropriate recipe in each of them. So
that's
really
you can
nice.
watch them making green tea over rice in the summer, fried chicken that's delicious even when it's cold in the colder months in October, and New Year's Eve soba, toshikoshi soba in January, and then you can make it yourself. But the anime concluded at 13 episodes, but the manga is still running and still hugely popular. I've got my fingers crossed that there'll be a subsequent season with the characters who we didn't get to see in the first time around. But as it is, it's just like a delightful, fun little thing to watch, and it's great. I would argue that this is possibly the best Fate series to start with if you don't know anything about Fate, because you don't need to know much of the background to get something fun out of it.
So thank you for sharing about Emiya Sanchi no Kyo no Gohan, or today's menu for the Emiya family, and make sure to check it out if you haven't yet. And yeah, let's move on.
Mikan OTA-KATSU Diary. Hey Roomies! So today I wanted to talk about my summer break. I hope everyone's summer break was good, or summer in general. But I did quite a few things, so I want to talk about some of them. So first of all, I went to the beach, mainly one called Enoshima, which is a little bit touristy, you know, pretty big beach in Japan that everyone goes to. I did like some barbecues there. I went to the aquarium there. And in Japan, they have beach houses, like little stores that sit on the beach that kind of sell like food and stuff. So, you know, I like hung out there, ate, hang out with some friends. I also went to do some fireworks. I also did see the fireworks shows, which was super nice. I also did some barbecues, you know, and it's kind of weird in Japan. You have to do it like at a store, but it was still fun. Yeah, that kind of sums up my summer and it was really fun. I hope everyone had a good summer this year. Bye, Roomies! Mikan OTA-KATSU Diary.
So, here's our corner for today.
Oshi-Kai.
Yes, so in this corner, we share our favorites or oshi, anime, seiyu, manga, idols, characters, and more. This time, Sakura will be sharing her oshi with us. So, what's the theme for today?
So for me, something that is near and dear to my heart is an anime called Kaleido Star. Mid-early 2000s anime that's like the holy grail. Like, you know how like back then there was like a short shot of animes that were like less than good. They were just made just to spit things out. This show is one of the good shows that came out during that time frame. Essentially, it's a show about a girl goes to America to get
it's one of those animes set in America
on a circus troupe.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's actually really well put together too, because like basically she goes to America to join basically the Cirque du Soleil of their world, which is 100% super cool. It's kind of really weird because it looks like it's set in like Sydney, Australia or something, and like the building that they put the circus in kind of has like this Sydney Opera House kind of vibe, but it's a giant tent. Don't get me wrong, but it's like on its pier on its own, and it's like extremely beautiful to me, like in my childhood memory. Basically the main character, Sora, she goes to America, she wants to join the troupe, and she's just like acrobatic, she's all this, but she's also, you know, that stereotypical shujinko, main heroine, super nice all the time, good to everybody kind of girl. And she goes there because she follows her dream, and she had seen basically their prima donna, Layla Hamilton. She is a lady who is very good at the trapeze, very good at acrobatics, very good at everything she does. She's beautiful, perfect, blonde, blue-eyed lady that Japanese
it's set in America.
Is, yes, Japanese Sora is idolizing. And yeah, she gets in, she makes her way up and becomes, well, for lack of better way of saying it without spoiling, but she does become somewhat similar to Layla, and becomes the prima donna of Kaleido Star. Or I forgot to mention that the circus's name is called Kaleido Star, the namesake of the show, and it's well animated. The show has so many, it has different stage plays that are like the arcs that each, or what each arc is focused on. I think the very first one was the thing that they had focused on was like the show that was running while she came in. Essentially what happens is like Sora shows up, she gets in somehow, she kind of just klutzes her way in, and she's actually really, really good. But I think what ends up happening is like she kind of does have kind of like a small magical girl aspect of like she gets the night or something like that, she gets visited by the spirit of the stage fool, and basically he becomes her guardian angel kind of thing for the stage, and he kind of reads her tarot cards every episode until it kind of like foreshadows each episode of like, oh, she's gonna come across this, she's gonna come across that. And the animation for the show, I know I came up on it already, is beautiful. Like, you want to see a show about like stage performance, the hardships of training your body to go past its absolute limits. You want to watch this show. You want to watch the movie that came out after it. because at first you really hate Layla, because Layla is like, she's the prima donna, she's always good, she knows what's good for the company, she is the company, she's really what brings in the name of the crowd. But you know, Sora has that dream of making people smile and and like, to her it's not too much of a business, it's a performance, it's an art. And
a story like this needs a great rival character.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love it. It's like it's definitely one of my shows that I love watching. And like they kind of keep, it's so weird because the show keeps progressing, and like towards the later arcs of the show, they kind of keep jumping the shark.
Oh no.
There's an episode where they're literally doing acrobatics off of a Ferris wheel.
I don't know about you, but that sounds great.
Yeah, and then there's like a part where like there's almost always a huge feat or like a huge stunt in every arc that she trains to do or she's trying to do, and it's really cool because you get to see your favorite character like grow up. You get to see all the side characters in the show. I'm not sure if the show had a manga. I was just so enamored with the show that I kind of just loved it for what it was. But basically you kind of just get to know about everybody in the company, everybody who's like running the stage and stuff, and like just everything about the show makes me super happy.
I was looking online for some images, and like it looks like the costumes, like, you know, that they wear for these like stunts and stuff, they're so like intricate and like
really
super detailed.
It's so beautiful. And then like for me, when I first found the show, I think I'd seen an episode in Japan and said, oh, this is great, and then revisited it after I moved over to America. And so I watched it, heard the opening, I'm like, oh my god, I know this song, and then also watched the ending, and then saw like, oh my god, I remember this sequence of the ending song. And so it was just like refinding myself and like what I liked in anime, because like for me back then when I was a kid, it was just Magical Girl all the time, you know, Monster of the Week. And then I watched Kaleido Star, and it's about something so different, but also still has that same vibe of like growing into who you are and having people accept you for who you are and what you can bring to the table. And it's also, you know, directed by, or at least directed partially by my favorite director of all time, Junichi Sakura, of Sailor Moon fame, plus. Of Aria the animation,
and Princess Tutu, which I was gonna say. This Princess sounds Tutu like fame. In more than a few ways.
And it's also, she also did Ojamajo Doremi, which is my favorite. And I think he did Ashita no Naja too, which is also a nice 2000s girly show that I also found, which might become my Oshi-Kai next time. But like other names that are really big on the show were like Umakoshi. Yoshihiro Umakoshi did some key animation for an episode or two. The music is actually by the person who wrote a lot of the songs, the vocal songs for Aria the animation, Kubota Mina. So it's kind of like it's one of those like, I hate saying it, but it's kind of off the beaten path kind of anime that's got a lot of these well-known people's early works in it. So it's definitely one of my favorites.
So today's Oshi-Kai was on Sakura's Oshi Kaleido Star, and it's an anime, and I don't think I've ever watched anything like similar to that. So I've definitely that's something to add to my watch list. And it was super fun learning about it too, and I could also really tell how much you really loved it. So stay tuned to find out whose Oshi will be next. Today we got to learn about Sakura's Oshi anime in our Oshi-Kai corner. It was super fun, and again, like, I love the Oshi-Kai corner so much. But how was it for everyone?
I hesitate to play favorites because we have such a good time in everything we do on this show. But Oshi-Kai is something that I'm always delighted to see coming up when we have it planned. Because listening to my roomies share things they're passionate about is just always such a good time. And it certainly increases my enthusiasm for something that I haven't seen yet, or if it's something I have seen yet, then, you know, just getting to like relive and share that enthusiasm is equally great. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of worried because like I knew my Oshi-Kai was coming up, and I was just like, what do I even talk about? Do I even know what to say? And then I was just like, you know what, Angelica, just dig deep in your heart.
Follow
and think of
your
that
heart.
thing.
Yeah, I think that's what might make Oshi-Kai so great.
Yes, believe in you.
Before we end today, we have a Twitter account and website, so make sure to check that out and tweet us your questions, suggestions for future topics, and comments at #AnimeRoomy.
And tell us about your Oshi. We'd love to hear about them.
Yeah. What can you go on and on about for hours?
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye bye, Roomies.
Bye bye, Roomies.